Hey everyone. So today what we're going to do is test out these gluten-free flours, see how much water we have to add to make it at each of the stages that I did for the gluten flours, and then we can see how close each of the gluten-free flours is to the gluten flours by the amount of water that they each absorb. This is going to help us a lot figure out which one is best in which recipe. All right, let's jump into it. So we finished up the Cup4Cup multi-purpose flour where we added water to it to see what happened. Cup4Cup multi-purpose flour came in at 154 grams, just dry for 1 cup of flour. Now that is significantly lighter than any of the others. The very lightest ones are the cake and the pastry, which were 174 and 181. But any of the other ones like spelts, all-purpose flour, that sort of thing, they're all over 200 grams. So you do have a little bit of difference here. And so I would really say that we need to be very careful when we're following recipes that have the amount of flour needed is given in grams, and we need to make sure to translate that so that we're putting in the right amount of flour. Okay, and then to get to the crumble stage, again, that is like a pie dough sort of thing before you would normally add the water. It just makes it all crumbly up. And we needed to add 41 grams. And just looking at the results of the other ones, it looks like 31 grams of water needed to be added for the whole wheat. And so that is not too far off. However, the whole wheat was the one that we had to add the absolute most to. Other ones needed as little as 5 grams. And the average was around 15. For the dough, we had to add 100 grams of water to get the dough to come together for the Cup4Cup flour. And that is going to be higher than any of the others. The highest one for the gluten-containing flours was semolina, which needed 89, and whole wheat, which had 87 grams added to it. So it's not too far off from the whole wheat flour or the semolina flour on that one. To make it a thick batter, like a cake batter, we had to add 191 grams. All-purpose flour had 179, so that's not too far off, really. So Cup4Cup, making like that thick cake batter, you might not find that you need to make too many changes using all-purpose, so that's great. Another one that's close to is the unbleached all-purpose flour at 204 grams. And those are really the very closest ones. Bread flour was 166 grams compared to the 191 of the Cup4Cup. Spelt flour was 227 grams of water, where we needed 191 for the Cup4Cup. So that's some interesting data there. And then for our thin batter, we needed to add 295 grams. Oh gosh, you know what? Spelt flour for that thin batter. Now by thin batter, I'm talking about like a pancake batter. That thin batter was 297 grams for the spelt. So that's just about like right on. So if you have a recipe that is calling for spelt flour, you're going to be really close there. Let's see, another one that is pretty close. The semolina at 328 grams compared to the 295. And the whole wheat flour, it had to add 336 grams of water. Now, something that's interesting is that even though the Cup4Cup was very close for the thick batter, it is pretty far off for the thin batter. It only needed 214 grams of water added to it to make the thin batter compared to the 295. All right, so it looks like if you are trying to replace gluten-free flour right into your recipe and you are wanting to use Cup4Cup, recipe that calls for, whole wheat or spelt flour is going to be your closest across the board. You really are going to be looking at different flours based on the texture of your final product that you're going. That's really interesting. I'll have to use that to apply it to some of my own recipes. All right, until next time.